Hey everyone, SolarPrimal here, and welcome back. I'm here today to talk about, well, of course, there was a Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer released this morning, or at least on Wednesday. Either way, I'm a little late because, well, just timing. But I do want to talk about it because there was actually quite a few interesting things that have come up that I want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about it. How many times can I say talk? Either way, let's get into it. Just a little bit of a play-by-play on how the trailer was showcased for us. Apparently, for the Japanese trailer for Sword and Shield was a little different. You still got the same information with, but the Japanese one had a little bit more, which I might talk about if I remember it. But first off, they brought back region alternate forms. At least in this case, this is the Galar forms or Galar forms of old Pokemon from other regions, basically given a new look. They did something like this for Alola in Generation 7. So some people were wondering if they were going to bring this back. And I, for one, am glad that they did. And it also showcased the fact that it's so far not restricted to just Kanto Pokemon, which I think is a fantastic idea. It's allowing them to try and showcase reimaginings of old Pokemon to fit a certain narrative in that region for that time. And I'm really it was only 2 Pokemon, technically, that they showed, and I really liked what they did with it. First of all, they showed off the Galar version of Wheezing, and I'm in love with this thing. I look forward to the English dub of the anime because I want to see the Pokemon Wheezing basically come out of the Pokeball or even just interact with not just it saying its typical Wheezing voice, but more of a Wheezing. I don't know, a bit more posh Wheezing voice. I probably just embarrassed myself there, but that's all good. I enjoy doing this. Overall, I just love the design of it. I love that they're doing giant chimney stacks, just kind of like you'll see in some places, but they do giant chimney stacks, whether it's a heavy industrial area or what have you. Even some old kind of houses are like that. And they turn it into a top hat. I think that's brilliant. And then they also gave them some kind of slimy mustache or a goatee for the other one. I think that's amazing. I love when they give characteristics like that. Truth be told, they did that for Diglett and they gave it like big flowy hair. People love that. It didn't really do anything for me, but either way, and they did that with Geodude as well for Alola. They gave Geodude, when it was fully evolved, they gave it like this kind of bushy beard with a really funny looking mustache. And you know what, truth be told, it's actually kind of cool. I'm actually kind of curious if they're gonna do something similar to what they did for Cubone and Marowak, where only the Marowak actually had an alternate form and the Cubone just looked like a regular Cubone. So I'm wondering if Coughing will look like its usual self, and then when it evolves, that's when it gets the double top hat treatment. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I love it. I love that form, and I couldn't be happier. I can't wait to see more of these. But speaking of more, they also released a Galar version of Zigzagoon and its evolution. And it's pretty interesting because the original design was meant to look like a raccoon, hence the name for Zigzagoon, like a zigzag raccoon. Works for me. And this not redo, but this alternate version of that region's version of it still has that, and in fact it's a little bit more adorable if you see the animation work. Like, it actually goes on its hind legs like a proper raccoon can, and it kind of claps its hands. I think it's adorable. Then it has its evolution looking thing. It looks great. But the thing that actually is a bit more interesting is the fact that it's getting a third evolution. And I can't pinpoint what real life animal it reminds me of, but I just love the look of it. It's got like it's doing the little Wakanda forever kind of thing, and it's got little cross marks on its shoulders. It's just a really 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 fun design, and I think that's a really great choice on Nintendo's part. And all the forms of it have its tongue sticking out. And again, I think that's in reference to something I just don't know what. If you guys have an inkling to what that might be, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear, because I love making the connection between like what is this Pokemon in reference to in something in real life or mythology, what have you. So for me, that was really exciting to see that they actually are gonna bring over a kind of feature that a previous Pokemon generation had, and I look forward to seeing more of them. So who knows, maybe I might actually use one in my playthrough. Who knows? I'm really curious. I really want to play the coughing, because I actually think its typing is really interesting too. Now that I look back on that, I think it's poison and fairy, which is kind of one of those interesting ones. It's kind of like a Sableye where it's like dark and ghost, right? The type kind of clashes with itself. But who knows? Maybe that might be helpful, maybe not. So they also released information about a new Pokemon, and oh man, I wish I remembered what its name is. Right now, I'm just equating it to a meme I saw of it being the Millennial Pikachu, because it has an ability where it gets hangry. It has two forms. It has a really cute form, and then a form where it's super angry. And I think it's an interesting concept. I'm curious how useful it'd be mechanically, because I'll be honest, in Alola, there was a lot of interesting Pokemon with really interesting features and abilities. I don't feel people got to utilize them quite a bit. There was a bit of an oversaturation of uniqueness. The one that people really clung to from that one that was unique, from what I've seen, is actually Mimikyu, and that's just because mechanically it's actually smart, because you get almost like a free hit, because, well, at least you get like a free turn of no damage. So people got to really utilize that, as where I didn't really see too many other Alolan Pokemon aside from starters. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I think they got to try new things, and then unless they try new things, they're never going to learn what works and what doesn't. Or if they had to make tweaks here and there kind of thing. That's, you can't be perfect the first time. But it wasn't just new Pokemon we got, which I love. Please give me more. We also got to see the game's going to have more rivals, which I think is interesting. I don't know if they're going to be version exclusives. And, oh man, I wish I remembered both their names. I remember one being BD, and I think the other one is named Marine or Marina. I don't remember, but the marine person, Marina, I don't know, I can't remember. Future me is going to look it up and know, and then put it on the screen somewhere every time I get it wrong. And yeah, you're welcome. And it looks like for that one, that was their way of introducing the team for this generation, which they're saying it's going to be TeamYell. That's interesting, actually. It looks like they want to stick with like really close to the chest on the theme that Pokemon is a really highly competitive thing in this region, and it's got the look of soccer, football for those in Europe or in the UK. Man, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, aren't I? Europe, sorry, my bad. Either way, I think that is actually a cool concept that they're gonna try and do, because it makes it kind of sound like the evil team isn't really evil, they're just a bit rude, which I think that's kind of been the trend that they've been going for the past, well, since last year, since Team Skull had some plans. They weren't really the true evil in the game. They were more or less just the rambunctious gang that got in your way once in a while, maybe caused a little bit of mischief, but didn't really have true and ill intentions. They just wanted to do what they wanted to do while doing this all the time. And, to each his own. TeamYell is going to be likely yelling the whole time. I like that they gave them whatever those things are called, those horns that you blow into and they make noise. They designed it so it looked like the shape of a Y for TeamYell. And some of them hold up banners and stuff, and I love it. I love the idea that they're going with all this. The other rival just seemed to be like one of those like, I don't have time for you kind of a thing, but I'll battle you, I guess. It just seems like one of those rich snobby type of rivals, and I don't think we've had one of those ones in a while, now that I think about it. Like, the closest thing to a snobby rival that we've had in the past while was actually back in Red and Blue with Gary Oak, or Fartface if some people called it that. I don't know anyone that would do that. And then aside from that, it's we had the misunderstood angsty teen, and then we had your gender opposite as your rival, and then that was a trend for a good while. And then 5th generation came out. I'm rambling at this point. I'm not actually talking about the video, but I do like talking about Pokemon. This is why I do these videos. But I'm actually really curious if these teams are going to be version exclusives, or if it's just going to be part of the story where that rival is kind of pseudo-attached to TeamYell, and the rich pompous one is just rich and pompous. I don't know. Again, the game's not coming out for another few months. I think it's coming out in November, so yeah, like 4 months away. So we still have some time to figure out more information, and they're not going to tell you how it's going to play out in the trailers. You're just going to have to play the game and figure that out. So I'm still on the hype train for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm ready to play it. I've been ready to play it for a while. I know people are still a little pissed off with some of the direction that they're going with it, but for me, I'm still all for them trying new things and also bringing the main series to you could say home console, even though they're going to be coming out with a light version of the Switch, which will bring it back to a handheld. But it's going to be technically both. You could, if you have the original Switch, then you'll be able to play it on your TV. If you don't, you can play it on your handheld and just have that same kind of feel. I'm not going to buy the Lite because, well, truth be told, I technically have 2 Switches because I wanted one, and then I didn't want to share, so we bought another one eventually for Lunar to play. And that is just my choice. I'm an adult. I can do what I want with my money. I save up. Oh, right. There was also the information they shared on the Japanese trailer for the trailer that recently happened. And apparently, you're going to be able to send Pokemon on jobs. And you'll get stuff out of it. I think it's a way to replace the concept of, say, back in Alola for the Poképelago, where you can set tasks to happen, and then in the end you'll receive either items, berries, or whatever else, training done, happiness, stuff like that, right? So I think that's their way of replacing it, and I think they're trying to integrate that a bit into, at least show it in the culture of Galar, where Pokemon have jobs, just as humans have jobs. And I think that's going to be really interesting to explore. I'm curious about it. We only got a little tidbit of it, and again, that's kind of the idea. But trailers only going to give you a little bit, just to entice you to buy the game and try it out, and hopefully enjoy it. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. I think I'm gonna enjoy it. Pretty sure I will. I don't have any doubts. When it comes out, I'm gonna sit down and play the crap out of that game, and I'm gonna love it. So that's all I wanted to cover for this video, covering what was shown in the recent trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I would like to hear your thoughts about what they shown in the trailer, and what would you like to see in the next trailer, or what more Galar version Pokemon would you like to see? Would you like to see a freaking bagpipe Pokemon? It's gonna happen. You know it. It's in the background. We're gonna get like a Rotom bagpipe. Just wait for it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. This is the region to do it. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. And until then, you guys, this is SolarPrimal signing out, and bye for now.